everyone, welcome to VLSI for All. I'm your host Shrutishmita Bose, and today we have an incredible guest with us for yet another insightful expert talk on VLSI industries and careers. So we are incredibly honored to welcome Mr. Ernesto Conde. He is a co-founder and ASIC design engineer lead of Certify Semiconductors. He has previously worked with different leading companies like Intel, AMD, and Meta. So, without any further delay, let's start the conversation. So, a very welcome, sir. So, let's start by getting to know you a little better. Can you please introduce yourself and give a brief overview of your career journey?
Sure. Thank you guys for having me. It's great to be here. So, like you mentioned, my name is Ernesto, and I started my career at Intel in about like 12, 13 years ago. And I started off as a lab engineer, post-silicon engineer, mostly on doing analog IP validation. And then I move on to do emulation, which is basically taking SoC models and putting them in FPGAs to make sure that everything is working fine, and making software firmware development before having the chip on site. And then I move on to do physical design for NXP for a year, and then I move on to AMD to do front end side things like synthesis, STA, DFT, and then I moved to another company, a service company in the States, and I did full ASIC design there from RTL, physical design, sign off, and after that. I met my co-founder, and we decided to do our own company. And briefly, that's kind of the high level what I've been doing.
Yeah, okay. So we'll get into that. Okay, so VDK management and RTL to GDS are some of your like specialties, right? So how did you develop your skills and expertise in this particular area?
Well, when I was at Intel, I needed, was curious about that side of the ASIC design. So I decided to take a master's degree or grad school. I went to grad school and kind of advance on that topics, and then I tried to move on that domain. And then, well, I just started working on it, and I was so fortunate that I had a bunch of mentors that helped me develop those skills. And over the years and over projects, I improve on those. And I think the best way to improve on all any domain in VLSI is through many projects, right? So I had the opportunity to have a lot of projects in different companies, and that help understand different methodologies, different ways of doing things. And I think that's the best way to do it. Just do many projects as possible.
Yeah, okay, sure. So let's talk a bit about your specialization. So what was your specialization? It was in like physical design or backend, or like the design verification or front end?
I'm more on the backend side, so PD is my main field. Uh, but I've been doing some other stuff like EFT and STA as well. As one of the things I've been working on heavily as well. But
Okay.
I would say the backend side is my forte.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so clearly you have worked with different industry giants, right? So how did each of these experiences shape your approach towards this field, the VLSI field?
Yeah, so like I said, every company has its own way of doing things, uh, and every single project like AMD, Meta, or Intel has helped me broaden my view of how they do things and how can be done. So single company has teach me different things and different methodologies. So I think it was one of the key elements that helped me understand as a high level how to do a chip, for instance. And and I can say that even the small companies, I have the fortune to work with different startups as well, and those are different experiences because in a startup, there's not many resources as big companies like Intel or AMD. So you have to do everything yourself. I mean, everything meaning even, installing all the EDA tools, getting the PDKs download, uh, even doing, project management. So I think those are the experience that have helped me see the big picture. And like I said, every experience has given me something different.
Right.
So I would, say to everyone that if you have the opportunity to work for big and small companies, please do, because this everything, every single one of them teaches something, right?
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, okay. So, at what point did you decide to start your own company, and what was the thought behind the Certified? And if you can, like,
Hmm.
walk us through the step-by-step journey of that.
Right. So I think in our case in Mexico, the ecosystem is not as big as in the States or India, for instance. We don't have as many opportunities. Uh, so we found that there's a lot of talent here. A lot of people wants to join this kind of work, but there's not many people that spread the knowledge, right? So one of the things that inspire us to do this is to help our community here in Mexico, sharing our knowledge, giving more opportunities to the people around us, trying to get more projects.
Mm.
And I think the main topic is to support our community, our ecosystem, trying to at least help make it, I mean, not big, but at least advance, right? I think I would say sacrifice one dream. We wanted to give back to the community, and I think we are doing we're doing that. Giving opportunities to others and ourselves as well, because uh, we wanted to have interesting projects,
Right.
and this company has given us that chance. To
Mm.
search things that interest us and interest the community, and try to drive those to success, right? And I think those are the two main, inspirations, right? Give back to the community, help our
Mm.
ecosystem, and also, uh, make a better career for all of us, right? And a step-by-step guide, I think it's a tough one. I'll explain our journey, what happened, and what was
Yeah.
our thought process. So the main thing that we needed to do is have a good team, right? Uh, we started, me and my co-founder. That's it, two people, one team. But we needed more people, right? So we have
Right.
to, uh, staff ourselves. And there's not many people that do VLSI here in Mexico, so we have to uh, train people. We had a chance to work with a research center here in Mexico, and we started to train a small group, and that's what started all off. So we started with like 7 people, and the next challenge was to how to get projects, right? Because usually, as I guess all of to make a chip, you need thousands of people, right? Not only
Right.
7.
Right.
So we have to convince customers to we have a passionate team here. We know how to do things, so help us. I can help you do some part of the chip, some blocks, and that was a tough part to convince them. But fortunately, some people gave us a chance, and we have grown since there. So now we're 20 people. We starting to grow more, and there's more challenges now, and I think that's the journey so far. How to make the team, how to get projects and execute them. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
a rocket science, but
Yeah.
it is what happened. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so you have pretty muchly summarized that. I was like wanting to ask you that question only. Like, what are the challenges did you face in your initial journey when actually were building the company? Yeah, so you have already explained that. So, leading a company and
yeah,
as well as a team obviously requires the technical responsibilities and also the business development, right? So, how do you manage both?
that's a good question. Thanks for that. And I think it's one of the biggest challenges we have right now because, as you know, we are a small company and all of us have technical responsibilities. But also we need to find projects and customers, right? So how do we manage that? I wish the days had 36 hours to make that happen because you have to break down and try to manage that and it's been a tough time for I mean it's fun. I won't lie to you. I like it. I think the business side is one of the things that most of the engineers might not have a chance to explore because we are kind of on the technical side all the time. But I think we're still trying to find a balance, and I wouldn't lie to you. Still, trying to find that way. So, how do I balance it? I just try to schedule the time for technical work and for business side. So the business side usually is uh, it's extensive, right? It's you have to follow up on the leads and everything. But most of my time gets consumed on the technical side. The my co-founder is the one that drives most of the business side. I do get involved on it because this is a technical field, so you have to the sales are technical as well. So you need to know what you're doing and how to talk to your customers and tell them how I'm gonna develop this, right?
Yeah.
And so right now it's like you know I would say 80% technical and 20% of my time following up on business side
Okay.
and I'm still in work in progress on that. So
Yeah.
that's hopefully hopefully I explain myself.
Hmm. Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, okay. So, looking at the bigger picture, like what trends in the semiconductor field do you think are you are more excited about?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you well. Can you
Uh,
can you repeat that?
yeah, sure, sure, sure. So, looking at the bigger picture, what trends in the semiconductor field do you think or you are more excited about?
Oh, trends. Oh, okay, okay, I got you now.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
sure.
Uh, I think one of the big trends that uh, are driving the next generation chips is the chiplet uh, wave that's coming. So, as you guys know, now we're moving from monolithic chips to, partition the chip in different chips, like having
Hmm.
chiplets that
Yeah,
do one chip will do the compute, the other thing will be the networking, and the other chip will do processing, different things.
right.
So I'm excited about that trend and all the technologies that have to come together, right? New packaging, the 3D packaging that's coming up. I mean, it's
Hmm.
already here. You see all these new uh, products like Blackwell, that have this big amount of chips, HBM memories, all those all those new technologies that are coming together are, I think, it's one of the things that excite me most, and it's going to drive a lot of work for us. So that's what I'm excited about that. And now you have to think about it system level, right? It used to be just one block, one chip. Now you have to think about all these new interfaces, UCIe, inter-chip communications, all the packaging implications. So those new technologies are the things that are going to drive the new wave, and I think that's what excites me the most right now.
Yeah, okay. So, you have an educational background in SoC design from ITESO, right? So, how
Mm-hmm.
did this specialization help you in your growth? And do you think that it is important for the engineers to have this kind of specialized study?
Yeah, so I think it was one of the things that helped develop my career. Before that, I mean, my bachelor's was more like a mix of things. I was doing mechanics and embedded software and all that kind of thing. And after joining Intel, I got excited about VLSI.
Mm.
So I needed to, go back to school and get more specialized. At least in Mexico, it's not a topic that's, very popular right now. I mean, we're changing that, thanks for, what happened on the pandemics, all that chip shortage. Mexico is known to be a car builder, right? We manufacture cars here, and the lack of chips made it aware of the importance of
Mm.
chip design. So right now we have more schools that are trying to get that education in, but before that it was not a very unknown topic, only in grad schools and very few research centers. So answering your question, yes, that was a game changer for me. I needed that, and if I didn't have that, I think I wouldn't be here. I would encourage people that if it is a good thing to have got the degree to advance, specialize, and especially in Mexico, we need to have more people learning these topics.
Yeah. Yeah, so even I also think so. Even in India, it is important. Like when I was joining in with NVIDIA, I have realized that it was very good for me to have the master's degree in VLSI so that I got a like knowledge about all the things. Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay, so can you share about any like particularly challenging project where you actually have pushed the boundary and how did you do that?
Oh, okay. There's many projects, but there's one that I always tell everyone because it was an interesting one. So we have this project was we had a small team. I think we were like 7 people, and the project was a second revision of a chip. So there was one customer that had tape out, and they wanted to do changes on it, but the changes were going to be only on the metal side. They didn't want to change the base layers. So the challenge that there was to, do ECOs on it, but only touch metal and the mask layer, right?
Mm.
So, and they wanted to do some logical changes as well. So it was a challenging time because we have a few spare cells to work with, a few flops there that had to be, rearranged. And it was a different way of thinking, right? Because usually you have a chance to resynthesize, change the RTL, and do the whole flow. And in this case, we just had to work with what we had. So it was kind of like a manual thing, rerouting things, trying to close timing what we had. And it was a great time because our team was small and we were in charge of everything, and it was stressful as well.
Mm.
It was fun, and they taught me a lot of you know uh, uh, how to think about design with constraints that you usually don't have. At least it was a cool experience for me and for the team. So
Mm.
it was a challenging time. So it was fun, and and yeah. So I think that was one of the challenges, more challenging projects.
Okay. Okay. So Certify offers engineering solutions, which brings an unique dynamic to your collaborations, right? So how do you approach collaborating or working with global clients and teams?
That's a good question. How do I approach that? So, I mean, if you or client, most of the clients are outside Mexico, right? And I think one of the approaches we have is to be open-minded and be very open communication, right? What the different teams do and adapt to their methodology, and also to think outside the box, right? And try to propose new ideas in collaboration with the customers. And
Hmm.
what the thing that has been very successful is that, right? To be open and collaborative and listen to them because collaboration is everything, right? So if the communication is open, projects go smoothly and we learn about each other's, right? And this is how we approach, open communication and open thinking, right?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so before we wrap up, what would you advise to the young engineers who are wanting to impact in this space?
Uh, I think one of the key features of a great VLSI engineer, to my opinion, is to be curious about everything. The VLSI field is very big, right? As you know, there's many uh, different, um, how would I say that? So different specializations, different things to do. And if you know, I mean, about everything, at least how things interact to each other, right? So how the architecture impacts the RTL impacts the backend, and how the product's going to be made. I mean, if you have a overall vision of the flow, it will make you a better engineer to make better decisions and support the other teams, right? So be curious and try to learn as much as you can about your peers, and always try to learn more because this is a big field. I mean, there's always something to learn, right? So be humble, be open, and try to find mentors everywhere, right? So I always try to find mentors, always try to find people. There's always people that can help you, right? So yeah, so have that scout in mind.
Mm, Okay. So my last question is like looking ahead, what is your long-term goal for the company?
Well, the long-term goal is to, like I said, help the ecosystem here in Mexico. We would love to see more companies that do chip design here and support that. I mean, the more we are, the more we can do, right, together. So here's to join this field.
Mm,
Like I said, in Mexico, there's not many people that do this, and mostly because it's not very well known. So we have been working with several universities and schools, and we're teaching as well. So the main goal for us is to make a better ecosystem for everyone. Not even in Mexico as well. I mean, in Latin America or everywhere. So uh,
yeah.
yeah. So the more we are, the more we can do. Right?
Okay,
Yes.
so thank you so much for taking your precious time and letting us know about your inspiring journey and the insightful impacts on this space. Okay, so thank you very much. If you want to tell us lastly anything about it, then we can end.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. It was great, and I'm excited to what you guys doing in BLSI for all. It's a great forum. There's a lot of great information that you guys are spreading to the world. So keep going, and whatever we can do to help, I'm happy to do so.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you to our viewers for tuning in. Thank you.
Thank you.